Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. What you're looking at here is a picture of the Slenderman. And of course, the Slenderman is a character that was created online on a website called Creepypasta, is where he first showed up. So we know that he's not real, right? Well, I certainly don't think that Slenderman himself is real, but what he represents is absolutely real. I'm going to show you a few news stories here in a second that connect with this. The reason this is important to me in stories like this is because it really is proof that, as I've been saying for many years now, the veil is lifting. We're seeing more of the spiritual enter this reality in really unusual ways. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Though Slenderman itself isn't a real character in my opinion, Slenderman represents the man in black. And the man in black has been seen by lots of people over the last few years. I mean, even though Slenderman was a created character, he had an impact in the real world. You may remember this story from just a few years ago. Two 12-year-olds blamed horror meme Slenderman for inspiring them to stab a classmate. These two children, these two 12-year-old girls, claimed that they stabbed a classmate 19 times in order to prove themselves worthy of visiting his, quote, mansion out in a Wisconsin forest. One of the girls apparently claimed that Slenderman could actually read her thoughts. They had allegedly planned to murder their victim, another 12-year-old girl, for months, but she ultimately escaped after the attack. I mention that because over the last year or so there have been multiple sightings of a, quote, man in black, or a shadow man, oftentimes associated with mass forms of possession, or what seems to be possession. Here's a story that just came out this month. 22 schoolgirls suffered mass demonic possession and foamed at the mouth after playing the game of Charlie Charlie. And the first sentence reads, "The children were screaming and writhing in the traumatic incident in Colombia, and one claimed she saw man in black in a vision," or the man in black. It says, "This is the chilling moment 22 schoolgirls aged between 12 and 15 suffered mass demonic possession after playing a game of Charlie Charlie. The children were screaming, writhing, and hallucinating, and some were even foaming at the mouth. One victim claimed she could see a, quote, man dressed in black while possessed, and locals are praying against witchcraft as authorities warn against playing the game." One of the girls is said to have explained what she saw while she was possessed. She said, "There was a man dressed in black, and he said that a child had the sheet with red letters, and if he burned the sheet, we kill them all." And you may remember this story. This is from May of this year, just a few months ago. Nearly 100 school children possessed by the devil have contagious visions of, quote, man in black trying to kill them. It's also interesting when you compare these cases because you start seeing there's similar symptoms taking place. Check this out. Children aged between 11 and 14 reportedly fainting and having strong muscular convulsions. Shocking video footage shows pupils who are barely conscious repeatedly screaming and who appear to be delirious. Dr. Anthony Choi told national channel Pan American TV, "We don't understand how this has kept on going on. We know it started on the 29th of April and now it is still happening. Now there are almost 80 pupils who are still affected." A pupil, not named in local media, described their experience. "It's disturbing for me to think about it. It's as if someone kept on chasing me from behind. It was a tall man all dressed in black with a big beard, and it felt like he was trying to strangle me. My friends say I was screaming desperately, but I don't remember much." Another schoolgirl said she had trouble breathing and was desperately holding her neck as if someone was strangling her. According to her friends, she kept screaming, "Take it out." Another anonymous girl, aged 13, told local media several children from different classrooms fainted at the same time. "I got nauseous and started vomiting. I heard voices. A man in black chased me and wanted to touch me." And here's yet another example from this year. Once again, just a few months ago, school evacuated after picture of ghost in corridor sparks mass hysteria among pupils. A senior staff member said the pupils were, quote, possessed by the spirit, which they described as a black figure walking the halls. The man in black, right? The shadow man. A school in northern Malaysia has been evacuated due to an outbreak of mass hysteria. Once again, it's the mass possession, the mass hysteria, right? When pupils were, quote, possessed by a spirit. The building was shut after students and teachers claimed they saw ghosts walking the halls. School authorities alerted Islamic traditional experts, scholars, and even witch doctors to perform prayer sessions and exorcisms inside. The hysteria began last week after a number of people claimed they had suffered supernatural experience. They have now reopened the school, but officials are still trying to figure out what happened. A group of pupils said that they had seen a black figure walking around the school. Local news channel Astro Awani reported that one teacher felt a, quote, heavy presence was hanging onto her, and another said that a, quote, black figure was trying to enter her body. So on a side note, that's one thing we talk about a lot here on the channel is also its predictive programming and social engineering. And practically everything that's happening nowadays, regardless politics or weird stuff like this, has already been programmed into us, I believe. It is predictive programming. We've seen all this somewhere before, right? Typically in a form of media or entertainment, movies, TV shows, whatever. That's why when I started seeing all these stories propping up about the man in black showing up, or the smoke man, the smoke monster, right, the shadow man, it reminded me of Lost. I was a big fan of the TV series Lost. And in that series, they had a shadow man, a smoke monster. And they actually called it the Man in Black. See, we were introduced to this Man in Black a few years ago, before he ever really showed up on the scene. The Man in Black was a centuries-old inhabitant of the island. He was once a normal man, but an encounter with the heart of the island, brought on by his brother Jacob, changed him into a violent cloud of black smoke, often referred to as the smoke monster. In this form he could manifest as deceased individuals, most frequently as his former body. Eventually and permanently after the death of Jacob, he took the form of John Locke. So in essence, it is a shape-shifting, evil, shadow creature, or smoke creature. The Man in Black. A shadow man, right? The Man in Black. The Man in Black. The Man in Black that seems to be attracted to the children, or the innocents. So again, even though Slenderman was created online, right, we know that there's not a real, quote, Slenderman. You can see the associations taking place here. They've created this demonic creature that connects with children. And now we have all of these sightings of a, quote, man in black, a shadow man, around these children, but actually possessing them, getting into them. Now I'm going to leave you with one final example, and this is going to show you once again the predictive programming that comes into a lot of this stuff. Again, regardless of politics or the paranormal, whatever it is, we've been programmed for this in a lot of ways. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the book The Dark Tower by Stephen King, but they're currently in production and they're making a movie of The Dark Tower. So what I found very interesting about this is one of the main characters in The Dark Tower is the Man in Black, and that's going to be portrayed by Matthew McConaughey here. But check out the first picture they've released from production of the actual Man in Black. And here he is, the, quote, Man in Black. Now look just above his head, and I think you'll recognize that symbol. So it should come as no surprise we find the symbol of the beast system, right? The all-seeing eye, above a character called the Man in Black. By extension of this, we find mass possession of these children, and all of these children seeing the Man in Black. To me, this stuff is ritualistic. It's fascinating to me how much we're programmed for this kind of thing, and oftentimes we don't even see it. But I believe we really are living at a time where we're seeing a lot more of this. We're literally seeing mass possession, possession on a major scale. And the creepiest part in this case is that it's targeting the innocent, the children. So anyway, folks, that's the video. Wanted to share that with you. Thank you very much for checking it out, and stay aware out there. Take care, and I'll talk to you real soon.